All right, party people. This your man Griff. Try to make this real short. Man, folk be out here tripping, and as my man Matherin would say, doing the most. So about an hour ago, I'm leaving. Dropped the wife off to the cosmetology school, and her cosmetology school. Okay, got to say that because just got to say it nowadays. People don't believe that treat people own stuff. So, like, she working at one, but she owns the school. All right, so drop her off, go get gas. I use the Gas Buddy app, and it tells me where, the best prices for gas and all that good stuff at. So I found a place. I'm like, oh, okay, I go over here and get some gas. And I get the gas. I put the car in such a way so when I leave, I can just go straight out, make a right-hand turn, head on to where where I needed to go. Planning my route out. All right, if y'all want, okay, why are you hugging all? Okay, gosh. Folk out here hugging and grabbing on each other butts and stuff all out here in public like this. Don't know how to act. Oh, my goodness. And both of them got cars, front end is damaged. All right, so sorry about that, y'all. And those of you who new to my channel, yeah, I get distracted with stuff that's out here in the public view that I see all the time, and then I give y'all a brief commentary about it. Oh man, so I park my car, get my gas, get in the car. As they tell you, look all ways, and I go to leave. And as I'm leaving, I'm actually physically moving. Guy comes into the gas station. He's coming from my left, which means he's going to turn to his right to come in. Instead of him staying to his right, he decides he's going to cut across me while I'm actually in motion. And the problem was that there was a truck on the side of me, a delivery truck, huge delivery truck for the 7-Eleven. And I'm like, okay, he's going to mess around and hit that if he ain't careful. Why would you try to squeeze on that side? You know what I'm saying? It just didn't make sense. So as he's passing, he cuts across, and then he's looking at me like, yeah, I did it. And I'm looking at him to see if he's going to hit something, as well as to see, okay, what the heck is going on? Maybe there's an emergency that I don't know about. Somebody flipping out over some 7-Eleven, over salty hot dogs. And he passes by me, or proceeding to pass by me, and then I'm going on. So once I see he's clear, I'm leaving. So I'm looking at my, out, and everything. And the next thing I just happened to glance as I was looking to my right to make my turn. I happened to look and see that he hops out his vehicle. He stopped it, hopped out his vehicle, and staring at me like, what? And I'm like, okay, I see where this is going. All right. So I put my car in park, open my door, leave my door open. And I walk to the back and I just stare him. I didn't say nothing. And then he starts to scold me, literally fussing at me like I'm his kid or his wife or his side piece. All right, dude. People about to walk all out here in the street. People don't be caring. They don't be caring for their life. Just gonna jump out in front of the middle of the street. So I'm looking at him, and he's scolding me like, you made a bad situation worse by staring at me. What's wrong with you? Don't you be staring at me. And I'm like, I know this fool ain't talking to me. Oh, no, he ain't talking to me like, no. I said, dude, I can stare at whoever I want. It's a public area. We out in public. I said, don't do stupid stuff. You won't get me staring at you. Well, I was wrong. I understand that what I did was wrong, but that don't mean you got to stare at me. I said, then don't do nothing wrong and I won't stare at you. It's the kind of people we got on this earth. And yes, he was opposite of me. And one of the things I found being full-time out here, and I thought it was just at my job when I was working a W-2. And I'm just be straight with y'all. Black men, you probably can relate to this. I notice how men who are not black tend to like to try to put me in my place or put us in our place, especially when they did something wrong. So they did something wrong. We didn't even say anything, but we might have looked at them or had a look on our face like, what's the deal? Why did you do that? And I've had multiple times as being, just in this life of men who are not like me, who aren't of my racial persuasion, will stare me down and fuss at me for being upset at something they did. They did something wrong to me, and then they get mad because I'm upset. They get mad because I'm staring at them back, or just even looking at them, or questioning them as to what the heck was going on. What was that for? They get mad, and then proceed to do this here, and this is where it started getting a little more tense. So he says what he said, I say what I say. Then all of a sudden he's like, well, get out of here. I was waiting for him to say boy, because I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, you get out of here. You haul on up out of here. I ain't got to go nowhere. And then he looks at me like, I said, get out. I'm like, ain't no. So then he said, well, I can stay here. I can stay here then. I ain't going nowhere. Now, at this point, ladies, this is what you call mine are bigger than yours. Who got the bigger? That's what this is called. I'm just being straight with you. So he's trying to intimidate me, and I'm like, I don't have no need to intimidate him, but what I'm doing is showing that I'm not intimidated. So I'm like, okay, he wants to do that. So he's saying, I'll just stay here then. I ain't leaving because you told me to leave. And I'm like, so you gonna tell me to leave, and then when I decide to stay, you get mad at me, and I tell you, why don't you leave? And then you say, well, I ain't gonna leave because you told me to leave. I'm like, okay. So I went and closed the door of my car because I didn't want to get hit because it was, where it was parked at. I said, you know what, no problem. So I closed my door and I opened the trunk of my the hatchback up here, and I sit right down in there, and I just stare at him, just like I'm doing now. Just stared at him, didn't blink, got my heart rate under control, and I was sizing him up from head to toe. Calculated the distance between me and him, which was about probably 40 yards. I know how fast I can move. And I was like, let's see what happens. And I just sat there. And he's looking at me like, oh, you for real? And I'm like, yeah, I'm for real. We can be here all day long. Then he looks at me and says, I like you. And then hops in his car and drives off. And I just sat there until he pulled into his little parking space at the 7-Eleven. And then I got out. Then I got up, closed my hatch, and I left. And I'm like, really? You really gonna trip like this, dude? Are you really gonna trip like this? Had the nerve to scold me, try to scold me and fuss at me for staring at him for something he did wrong. That's a new one on me. And see, that alone just made me, like really hunker down and be like, okay, nah, dog, nah, not the griff. I'm like, nah, we ain't going there, Chief. You ain't, nah, you ain't getting away with that disrespect. You gonna know you found the right one today. And as I sat there, I said, this is what I hear a lot of other men talk about online from the community, where men of other racial persuasions, they like to roll up on older black men. They like to come at us a certain way, or young black men, because they think we're weak. And I know this ain't popular for some of y'all, and probably by now y'all done clicked off, and that's fine. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, but what I noticed is that because he was by himself, he probably realized he was outnumbered. Because he probably was sizing me up. And he realized it wasn't going to be easy. Now, I had no desire to scuffle or any of that. But it seemed like that's what he wanted. Because it was, and I wish I could remember, because I was just sort of like, I was just really keen and focused on him. But the way he was talking was like, if I don't leave, he gonna have to like make me leave or something to that effect. And I was like, well, I guess you're gonna have to get your money's worth today, dog. And what I saw today was, as they said, the antithesis of people who act like that sometimes. Now, whether the whole deal was because of the racial differences between us, I don't know. But all I know is that that's something that's in him. That's a part of who he is, to treat people that way. I feel sorry for his wife, his kids, or anybody in his extended family. And if he treats them like gold and treats other people like that, that's still not good. It's still not good. And I started feeling sorry for the guy, because I'm like, you really are that touched and moved because somebody stared at you for something you did wrong. I'm like, wow. I'm like, man, that's some mess there. That's something wrong with you mentally. Something really, really wrong with you mentally. So I just wanted to share that with y'all. I ain't gonna lie, I was heated. I was hyped. I did a video right after, and I was a little, I wasn't cussing them, but I was like, but I said, I calmed down a little bit, and I said, let me just be a little more thoughtful in how I share this with y'all. Because I ain't want y'all to think that I'm just out here trying to, go public enema on them. Jar with the spoons, public enema. But we got to do better, people. We really got to do better treating each other, and understand that our actions can cause people to react a certain way, and then you do something to somebody and then get mad at them for reacting. That's the crazy part. You do something to somebody and don't even apologize. Now, just because him admitting that he did wrong, he wasn't apologizing for doing it. He was just admitting it just to bring out a point that even though he did something wrong, I was wronger for staring at him. And you see how they like to try to change it on you, flip the narrative? Yeah, I was wrong, but you was wronger for staring at me for doing something wrong. And I was like, I said, well, if you don't do anything wrong, then you ain't got to worry about me staring at you. And that set him off. He really didn't like that. But this is how it is sometimes out here when doing your business full time and you run across people like that. And I've had some encounters with people of my same race, cutting the fool and tripping and stuff like that. A couple of weeks ago, I was in an area that I had no clue about how to drive, and I stopped apparently where there was no stop sign, and there was this black lady behind me, and she proceeds to cuss me out and fussing at me for stopping when I didn't realize there was no stop sign. And I, and I was just like, look, can you just be quiet? I'm like, man, shut up. And she was like, get out of here with your old self. And I'm like, oh, that's supposed to hurt my feelings because you called me old. I'm like, I'm blessed to be this old. Will you make it to that age? But this is how some folk are out here, people. This is honestly how some folk are out here. And I've come to the conclusion that some of these same people will be folk that hop in the notary business. Yeah, I had to bring it back to the notary. They'll hop in the notary business and have that same bullying mentality. Have that same, oh, well, if you ain't taking orders of $500 or more, then something wrong with you. You got a problem. And I'm like, It'll be just that same person that'll be in the business talking about buy my course. Man, a lot of them are already in this business doing that. All right, y'all, let me get on out of here. Finish up this house inspection that I got. And hopefully they'll hear me get me my documents for my 3:30 appointment. It's a little bit after 1 right now. But I'm safe. I'm okay. I understand all the complexities of what somebody could have had, would have had, might have had, all of that kind of stuff, and everything. Because actually, what I was about to do, I was going to just go on and call the cops and be like, "Yeah, I just wanted to give y'all heads up that you got a situation here. You got two, males, black male and a white male. We're sitting here staring at each other with a little standoff. So." Just wanted to give you heads up about that. Maybe you want to come out here and try to help us diffuse the situation. I was ready to do that. I really was. I was ready to just go on and call the cops and everything if he would have persisted. But he backed down and all of that. So give me your thoughts if you want. And I already know somebody going to be like, be careful out there, Griff. Griff is going to be careful. I promise you, Griff will be careful. Okay? All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.